Hi, good afternoon to everyone. Thank you very much for joining our live Patent to Profit webinar. Today, we are going to feature a very innovative company, Gillette. We are going to look at some of Gillette's key patents and Gillette patent strategy. A bit of introduction about myself. I'm a patent lawyer by profession, actively involved in the patent protection and monetization work in the Southeast Asian region. So I've been around since 1999. This is how long I've been in this industry. Okay, so let me just start by looking into Gillette. As you all know, Gillette is a name which is synonymous with shavings for many generations, for 100 years. Gillette has transformed shaving by introducing a safe, easy to use, disposable blade. And Gillette's razor revolution has not only revolutionized shaving, but it has also defined grooming standard and also perception of personal care. So this presentation, we are going to look at how Gillette leverages on patent as a powerful economic moat to protect its competitive advantage. Okay, a little bit of information about Gillette. Gillette is a company based in Boston, USA. It was founded in 1901 as a razor manufacturer. In January 2005, Gillette was taken over by Procter & Gamble for $57 billion. And by merging with Gillette, Procter & Gamble is the world's largest consumer brand. So Gillette is currently a subsidiary of P&G, and it is a public listed company in the States. Okay, and a little bit about the revenue of Gillette. Gillette has 60%, around 60% market share in the global razor market. This is a highly competitive space, and for over 100 years, Gillette has managed to establish itself as the biggest market shareholder of this very competitive competitive industry. Gillette has made a revenue of 6.9 billion in 2022. Okay, so we would like to first of all explore what is the generic competitive strategy of Gillette. And as if you have followed my previous slides, I always use the framework introduced by Professor Michael Porter to analyze the competitive strategies of companies. So what is the Porter's generic strategic Porter? According to Mr. Porter, a company has three strategy options, right? To be competitive, to have a sustainable competitive advantage, the company can choose to be either a cost leader or you have to be a differentiator. Cost leader will sell things very cheap and people will buy their products because it is low cost. Or if you are a differentiator, you offer uniquely desirable product and services. People will pay a premium to buy your product. And the third element is you need to focus. You need to know where your niche market is. Professor Porter advised against a company which is everything to everyone. A firm which is stuck in the middle, which is everything to everyone, is in a very poor strategic position. You cannot compete successfully for the long term if you don't choose what you want to be. So for the case of Gillette, it is definitely a differentiator. If you look at the price of Gillette's blades, if you compare their blades with other competitors like Schweetz or Harry, the price is much selling at a much higher price. It commands a high premium over the competitor. And Gillette differentiate through high quality, innovative razor blades and and to be differentiated, Gillette has two main strategy. One is by way of innovation. Gillette consistently invests in R&D and pioneer cutting-edge shaving technology. It is the first one to have come up with 2 blades, then 3 blades, then 5 blades. We are 5 blades system. We are going to look at those patents later. It also came up with a floating blade system, blade coating system, and also lubrication strips. These are the technology introduced by Gillette to offer a better shaving experience. Gillette is also one of the strongest brand in the cosmetic industry. Gillette, with its iconic slogan, the best a man can get, Gillette has established a powerful brand identity that commands customer loyalty and distinguishes itself from its competitors. Okay, if you look at the world most valuable brand in 2024, you can see that Gillette is ranked second. Yeah, it's second most valuable brand. The brand's valuation is estimated to be $7.4 billion. So through branding and through innovation, Gillette is able to be a differentiator, selling its product way above its competitor and yet commanding a 60% world market share. So the concept of economic moat was popularized by Warren Buffett. For Warren Buffett, he would not invest in any company if a company doesn't have a strong economic moat. Economic moat is like a barrier of entry that allow a company to continue to generate economic profit for the future, for the long future, right? So any company that does not have an economic moat is not a company that can last for a long term. So Gillette's economic moat lies definitely in the intangible asset. The intangible assets are the byproduct of its innovation. It's the byproduct of its branding, aggressive branding strategy. So Gillette economic moat lies in its patent, in its proprietary technology, in its strong brand, and other valuable assets. So for this particular webinar, we are going to see some of Gillette's key patents and how Gillette uses the patent to protect its innovation and to achieve sustainable competitive advantage. Okay, so this slide is actually taken from a statistic done by a company called Ocean Tomo. It is through the, Ocean Tomo has done an analysis on the Fortune 500 companies in the States, and it is found that 90% of the value of the Fortune 500 companies comes from intangible assets, right? So it shows that intangible assets is more important than the tangible assets, and it's giving high value to company because of these intangible assets. Okay, so the main engine of growth for Gillette is the intellectual property owned by Gillette, and Gillette uses IPs like patents to jealously protect its innovation, using industrial design to protect its unique shape and outlook, uses trademark to protect its Gillette brand and its slogan, and also using copyrights to protect the marketing content, the videos, the advertising content of the advertising materials. So these are how all the ideas, the new ideas generated by Gillette are being protected. So before I go into Gillette case studies, I think it is also timely for me to introduce a bit of intellectual properties, the concept of intellectual property, for those of you who are not too familiar. So when we talk about intellectual properties, we usually refers to a series of rights, legal rights that protects different types of new ideas owned by the company. So patent, companies file patents to protect its invention, its new innovation, copyright to protect its content, the creative content that helps to sell the products, trademarks to protect the brand, industrial design to protect the external appearances, and also the trade secrets to protect the valuable proprietary secrets not known to the publics. So all these intellectual properties, they are intangible assets. They are something that you cannot see, you cannot touch, because it comes in the form of a legal rights granted by the government. And with that legal rights, you have a monopoly over your idea. And the monopolistic right extend to the right to use the idea commercially, to sell the idea, or to manufacture something using the idea. So if you come up with any new idea or new innovation, it is important to convert the idea into an intellectual property asset so that you have a monopoly over the idea. And all the intellectual properties, they are limited by jurisdiction. In order to get the monopoly right, you need to go to different jurisdiction to get the legal monopolistic right. There's no government in the world that can give you a worldwide monopoly. So if you want a monopoly in US, you have to go to the US PTO. If you want to have a monopoly in China, then you have to go to CNIPA, China IP Office, yeah, to get the monopoly. And all these legal IP rights, they are all limited by time, meaning you can't own an idea for perpetuity. In exchange of you sharing the idea with the world, you get a limited monopoly in return. For patent, it's 20 years. For trademark, it's 10 years. For industrial design, it's between 50 to 25 years. For copyright, it's 50 years. So it depends on what kind of rights and which jurisdiction you are based and register your IP. So these are the fundamental facts about IP rights. And what are the basic functions of IP? Why company needs IP? First, you need IP to erect a barrier of entry. You to create an economy more around your ideas so that no competitors can walk in and take your ideas and replicate your ideas. The moment your idea become generic, become easy, it can be easily copied, then there's no more value to the idea. You don't own the idea anymore. So the intellectual property, the most basic function is for you to create a barrier of entry to prevent competitors from coming in. So today we are looking at how IP, Gillette protects its different innovation using patents as a barrier of entries to competitor. And on the other side of the coin, you have the freedom. You need an IP to have freedom to operate. Freedom to operate meaning if you come up with an idea and you don't register those ideas, others might register in before you do. So if that were to happen, you will not have freedom to sell the idea, right? In order to have freedom to sell the idea, you have to make sure that the idea is not registered by others, right? So by registering your idea, you own the idea and you have total freedom to operate. So these two functions work hand in hand, right? You own your idea by filing a patent, and if someone were to copy your idea, you can sue, you can stop people from infringing your ideas if you already own it as an IP. So these are the basic functions of IP. And I would like to turn my attention also to the patent, because today we are going to talk about patent. And under the patent law, you can protect your invention under 4 different categories. First category is article patent. Second category is machine patent. Third category is process patent, and fourth is the composition of matter patent. In Gillette's case, you will see a lot of patents are filed under the article patent and also process patent. Yeah. So in a nutshell, patent is a combination game, right? It allows you to own a new combination that you create that solve a problem in a better way. Like if you look at article patent, you can take at 3M, for example. 3M is an article patent that involve a combination of paper and glue. So if you file a patent on this combination of paper and glue, and the patent is granted to you, then you own this combination of paper and glue, and no one else can use this combination to sell or to manufacture or to use the products, the combination in their commercial use. So this is a combination game. If you look at the machine patent, it is actually a combination of different moving parts put together. So once I patent the combination of moving part, like for example, the photocopying machine, then no one else can put the components, the moving part together to create a photocopying machine, and therefore you are the only one that can be selling or manufacturing the machine. Process patent involve a combination of steps, right? A unique combination of steps, and this combination, for example, the process patent owned by Tetra Pak enable it to own the combination of packing a drink under a vacuum condition. So if you patent that flow, then no one else can do the flow except for the patent owner. And composition of matter deals with the ingredient. If you put together an ingredient in a new way, then it can solve a certain problem. Then this combination of ingredient can be owned by you by filing a composition patent. So today we are going to see how Gillette protects its invention through different category of invention patent. And to be patentable, this is also at the fundamental of patent. Your combination that you want to own must be something new. No one else in the world have come up with that combination before. It must be something inventive. Inventive meaning it has a technical advantage. The combination that you come up with is not only different, but it has to be something, it has to deliver a better technical result, and it's useful, meaning the combination that you want to claim works, right? These are the three simple criteria for you to own the patent. So if you are able to show that my combination is a new combination, it solves a problem, and it is useful, it can work, then you might have a patentable invention and which you can own as a patent. Okay, so today, when we analyze the different patents filed by Gillette, we are going to see, what are the compositions that Gillette own and what are the advantages of those combinations. Okay, let me just go into the patent, Gillette patent portfolio. Yeah, so this is the statistics patent owned by Gillette. I only have the statistic way back in 2018. In 2018, Gillette filed a total of 7,216 patents, and these 7,000 patents originated from 1,200 patent families. And out of this patent, 1,004 patents were granted and 5,800 patents, they were pending grant. So Gillette filed the most patent in US, followed by European Union and China and Japan, right? So patent being jurisdictional, you need to file a patent in a country before it is effective in that country. So Gillette key market is US, Europe, and also China. Okay, so Gillette, if you look at the origin of Gillette, Gillette is a company that is originated from a patent. It started when in 1895, the founder, his name is King Cam Gillette, came up with the idea to develop a disposable safety razor system, which is more convenient and safer for for you people to shave at home. Yeah, and this idea of Gillette is to produce a product that can be used, can be thrown away, can be bought again. During that time, razor was expensive, and men typically use the same one for the entire life. And before every shaving, you will have to sharpen the shaver, right? And this is totally not convenient. Yeah, making shaving a very inconvenient exercise. So King Gillette actually struggled for years to make inexpensive blades from a thin piece of metal that can be disposable, is very cheap, can be thrown away when they got down, right? So to produce that thin sheet of shaver inexpensively take years. So he worked with an inventor from MIT by name of William Nicholson that helped Gillette to design the shaver that can be mass produced, that can be stemmed from steel sheet, right? So these are the struggle, the innovation that went into the production of the first blades. So finally, Gillette came up with a process, the blade and the process of producing the inexpensive blade. And before he launched the product, the first thing he did was to file a patent in 1901, right? These blades, this thin blade, cheap, can be produced inexpensively and can be thrown away when they get down. And after he filed the patent, a company was founded under the name of American Safety Razor Company, and it was later renamed as Gillette in 1902. And Gillette has been so successful that by 1926, Gillette has already produced 2.1 million blades every day, right? And Gillette has innovated over time. The Gillette's product has evolved, and the disposable razor has become something we have taken for granted. It has become a familiar convenience. Every morning when you do shaving, you just take it for granted, but it all came from a patent filed 100 years ago. Okay, this is the first patent filed by Gillette in 1904. Yeah, as you can see, the claim in those days, in the early 1900s, were pretty simple because invention at that time, there's not many complicated invention in the prior art, so you can claim something simple. So it is claimed as an article of manufacture having a flexible and detachable blade for safety razor. So this is a combination that they claim is a detachable blade, flexible, can be used as a safety razor. And if you look at claim 4, all these blazers are made of steel of uniform thickness, and they have two opposing cutting edge, and it is something that you can screw onto the handle. Yeah, so this is the first razor patent by Gillette that started the extraordinary journey of the company to what it is today. So the 1904 with the patent, 1904 patent, Gillette has a good barrier of entry in the razor market. So no other competitor can come in to produce the same razor blade. So during the duration of the first patent, Gillette set high prices for its handle. Every time you want to buy this handle because of the patent, people have to pay high price for it. But eventually, in 1921, after the patent expired, competitors start coming in producing the old razor, right? So Gillette has no other alternative but to reduce its prices to match the prices of the competitors. But what it did was it came up with a new razor blade and a new razor handle, and patented the new system and sold at a premium price. So for many years, Gillette's strategy was to consistently file new patents, selling at the high price. And when the old patent expire, and then the old product, they start to sell at the lower price bracket to compete in the lower segment of the market with the new one selling at a premium price. So this has been the strategy. Like a lot of drugs company, yeah, when the drugs patent expire, they have to reduce the price to compete with the market, and they have to continuously look for new drugs and file a new patent and to compete at a premium. But in the case of Gillette, they have to innovate on this very simple razor product, keep coming up with new feature, patent new one, and then sell at high price. And when the patent expire, reduce the price to compete with the general market. And then subsequently, Gillette also discovered that the profit actually lies not in the razor handle, but in the disposable blade, right? Disposable blades are something that is a consumable. You need to buy and, keep replenishing the stocks. This is something that you can make more money. So Gillette came up with a revolutionary idea. He started to come up with the idea of selling the razor at a low price, even below cost, to capture a market, right? To capture a market share and make money from selling the blades, which is priced at a high price. And this high price product is something that you can sell over and over again because it's a consumable. So this is actually another revolution. Gillette has revolutionized a new business model. This is called a razor and blade business model, also known as the loss leadership business model, right? You sell the basic product very cheaply, below cost, or even you give away for free, but you charge complimentary refillable product at a premium, right? So this business model has also become common in modern economy. If you look at Xbox, if you look at the e-reader, you can buy the e-reader machine cheaply, but if you want to buy any electronic books, you have to pay a premium. So this razor and blade business model is also an invention of Gillette. Yeah, give away the basic product, charge for the refillable or the consumable. So, but having this business model, you also still need to prevent customer from putting cheap generic blades onto your razor, right? So in order to do that, you need to protect the blades. You have to have patent protection over the blades. And also, you have to make sure that your patent is filed in a way that the blades will be interlocked with the handle. So this patent is not protecting over the blade, only the blade, but also covers the interlocking function with the handles, so that if anyone want to switch, right, they have to switch the entire thing. They cannot just switch the blade and keep the handle. So the pattern of Gillette also cover a lot of interlocking pattern to make sure not covering only the blades, but also how the blades interlocks with the handle, so that competitor cannot just sell the blades and use the generic blades on Gillette's handle. So this is some of the features that we notice, right? And by filing protection over the core technology, Gillette can make sure that the customer have to come back to buy the consumable, the replaceable blade from them. And Gillette can continue to charge high margin from those blades and continue to make money, right? This is how. And even though the blades of Gillette is twice of at least 40% higher than the competitors, but because of the innovation in the blades, consumer will still like to buy from Gillette. And Gillette prevents competitor from coming in using the patent, the barrier of entry enabled by the patents. So this is how Gillette make the money. So let me just go into some of the key patents filed by Gillette, and you can download a copy of the handbook that captures some of the key patents filed by Gillette. Okay, and you can scan the QR code to get hold of the copy of the handbook. So these are some of the Gillette blockbuster patents that I would like to share with you today. We are going to, just now we talked about the first patent filed by Gillette in 1901, which was granted in 1904. And over the years, Gillette has filed multiple patents. And today I'm going to focus on one aspect of the innovation, which is the blade, right? Started with one blade in the safety first, then Gillette come up with Track 2 in 1971, introduced the first twin blade shaving system. And then in 1998, Gillette came up with any best-selling product, another blockbuster product under the brand March 3. And in 2005, a 5-bladed system under the brand Fusion. So I'm going to bring you through some of the patent filed under these three very important and best-selling product from Gillette. Okay, so this is the first Track 2. Track 2 was introduced in 1971 as the world's first two-bladed razor. By mid-1970, this product captured 70% of the US market share. Can you imagine a simple product? You can own 70%, and to do that, you need to have a strong portfolio of patents, because otherwise, anyone can produce this in their backyard, right? This is not SpaceX technology. This is just a shaver, right? So for this product to capture 70% market share and charging at a premium, you need a strong patent. So what is the patent covering Track 2? So this is an old patent filed in 1971. It is the world twin blade system. So the idea behind this, why is two blades better than one blade? So when you have two blades, you have the first blade lifting the hair on your face, and then you have the second blade to cut it. So this one will offer a smoother and closer shaving experience compared to a single blade. So you have two blades, and these two blades have certain advantages of having two interaction between first blade and second blade, and this gives the system a better result. So this is the technical inventive feature of the invention, and it works, so it's patentable. So this is the combination claimed by Track 2, right? So if you look at the claim define what is owned by a patent owner. So what this Track 2 patent claim, this patent 3724070 was filed claiming a platform, a platform member comprising of a cap, a blade, and platform is at the bottom, the platform, and the cap is at the top, is a cap, and in between you put two blades. And these blades, the cutting edge are parallel to one another in the same direction, and they are joined together as a unit. This is what is claimed by this patent. So anyone who wants to put a platform at the bottom, a cap at the front, two blades, and with the fastening member joining them together will be infringing the patent owned by Gillette. Right? So this is how they protect this idea. And the next breakthrough came in 1998, where Gillette came up with March 3. March 3 is actually an improvement over Track 2. It came up with a three-shaver, three-blade system. March 3 was a very successful product. It hit $1 billion sales within 18 months. So this was a successful product. It was sold under March 3 for men and Venus system for women. And until today, March 3 is still a very popular product, right? Selling still kept as of 2019, after patent expired, it has still captured a 12% market share in the States. Okay, so moving from March 2 to March 3, there are certain technical advantages. Three-blade, what are the inventiveness? You can have closure, safe shaving. You can distribute the pressure on the skin. Having three blades, you can distribute more evenly, and you can make less irritation on the skin and less discomfort. And so this is the technical advantages, and that was actually protected by this patent, right? So the Gillette engineer, this patent was filed in 1994, and it protects how the three blades are arranged together in a particular geometrical disposition. The engineer found that, to have three blades together, you have to arrange the blade in a certain way, right? The first blade must be below the surface, the third blade must be above the surface. The first one is of negative exposure, the third one is positive exposure. By doing that, you can shave better, right? So this was the patent. This was what the patent is all about. Having three blades, the first blade is a negative exposure, third blade is positive exposure. So when you have this type of geometrical arrangement, when you do shaving with three blades, you can shave in a more effective way, and that's being patented. Yeah, and also in this March 3, Gillette has come up with a floating mechanism, a floating blades mechanism where the three blades are being arranged to move independently, and they are pivoted around a certain axis so that it can conform to the contour of the face. Because it's floating, the pivot is at a certain arrangement, and this combination is also patented by Gillette through this particular patent. So this is an abridged version of the claim because the original claim is too complicated. So I abridge it, and this is how it reads, right? It has this housing, you have the blade, and you have a certain pivoting mechanism. And this pivoting mechanism has to follow a pivot axis, which is within a certain boundary relative to the gut for it to be able to follow the contour of the face. Okay, so this is the second patent, the March 3 patent. And March 3, Gillette actually took action against Energizer, which is the subsidiary, which is a holding company of Shriek. Shriek is another competitor. So this Shriek came up with a multi-blade design called Quattrum, right? They use four blade, and they also use this certain combination that was claimed by March 3, and an action was taken, and they went, Gillette asked for injunction, but this case was settled because that was the time when Gillette was acquired by P&G, and all the corporate lawyers were busy with the acquisition, so they just dropped the case, and both parties settled out of court. But this is one example of how Gillette used the patent to enforce the rights. Next, I think I will jump into the next product, which is Fusion 5, moving from 3 blades to 5 blades. And Fusion 5 introduced new features like 5 blades, using new features like anti-friction coating to make coating better and more smoother, anti-friction coating. Gillette Fusion product again was a blockbuster product, selling more than $4 billion in 2 months, right? So this is another successful product. So you must be wondering, right? How Gillette protects this Fusion 5 product. I'll try to make do a breakdown. This Gillette uses a strategy called patent fencing strategy. To cover this product, it filed a total of 41 patents, right? So how can a simple product, after 100 years, you can still have so many innovation? So this is the question that people will ask, what's the secret recipe? How can a simple product has 41 patent? So if you, how do Gillette does it, right? So this is basically, if you take a breakdown, what Gillette has done is it breaks the fusion into 10 key components, and every slight innovation, functional innovation on each component, they file a patent family. They have a patent family over each innovation in each component. So that's the reason why out of the 10 components they created a 19 families. Innovation functional innovation, each one in one family. And under each family, then they created different pattern using a strategy called continuation in part or divisional application. So you can see for the blade package, the key innovative feature is the blade distance. They come up with a smaller distance under this functional innovation of make the distance smaller. They created 6 patterns out of this functional innovation through continuation in part or divisional application. So this is a strategy used by company to enlarge the patent protection, to create a portfolio of family patent to a portfolio of patent to cover a basic idea. So this is a strategy used by many company, right? We call it a divisional application or continuation in part application. This is widely used by big multinationals to strengthen their product protection. Like for example, you may file a parent patent only covering feature A, but in your description you have many features. So as the patent go along, halfway through you find that feature B, feature C is also important. You can do a divisional application to cover the B and C, and you can use, if there's an infringer, you can use this B and C combination to go after the infringer, right? You can do divisional, provided that the original spec has all these features described. You are able to spin off second, third generation patent from a parent patent, and while sharing the same priority date. So in my experience, we have seen, right, one parent patent, you can create 20, 30 divisional application to protect different feature in a product, because you can only claim one combination in one patent, one set of combination. If you want to claim different set, you need to do a divisional, and you use a divisional to protect the feature. So this is something that I think a lot of patent owners should learn from. If you really want to go to court, you need to have a portfolio, and this portfolio will help you in litigation to ensure that you have a stronger protection. And another observation that we have made in the Fusion portfolio is whenever Gillette claim a patent, it claims many categories in the same patent. Like for example, the first patent on the distance, some of the patent they will claim in the same patent, not only the article, they will also claim about the process of manufacturing the article and the process of using the article, all 3 categories in one patent. So by doing that, you can cover a wider scope of have a wider scope of protection. So this is another observation that we make. So turning to the Fusion 5 patent, the key innovation in this Fusion 5 patent is actually on the distance between the blade. The engineer found that when you do shaving, if the gap is big, then your skin will bulge and causing discomfort. So by narrowing the gap to a certain extent, the blade will just touch the whisker, the hair, without touching the skin. So this is the next round of innovation they make the gap smaller. But when you make the gap smaller, it's difficult to drain the debris when you do shaving, right? So they also take the draining efficiency into consideration, and they come up with a concept called the wash-through index. So the gap must not be too small, because if it's too small, you cannot wash through, you can rinse through the debris. So you need to have a certain index. So in one of the patents filed by Gillette on Fusion 5, if you look at the claim, they actually claim the geometrical dimension of the blades. Like you have a blade having the interspace span of not greater than 1.25, and you have a wash-through index of not less than 0.20, right? So if anyone were to have a gap of that big, that small, and the wash-through of index of that range, it will be infringing the patent. So another technical challenge faced by the engineer, right, when they try to come up with such a small gap, is they know that you have to change some parameter in the blade geometry. You have to make sure the angle is at certain, and you have to adjust the angle and the exposure and the thinness of the holder of the blade all has to be considered in order to come up with a space which is small enough. So, and this is exactly what Gillette has done and claimed in this particular patent. This patent filed in 2004. They are claiming, a metal blade, and you have an elongated bend support, and you have a blade attachment area to attach the blade. And this elongated bend support must have a certain thickness, and it has a certain curvature radius. By having this combination, you are able to come up with blade arrangement with such a small gap. So that geometrical dimension was protected in order to protect the fusion technology. And Gillette has also come up with innovation on the blade itself, make the blade more comfortable when you do shaving by adding in an anti-friction coating onto the blade. So by putting some chemical onto the blade, having a chemical element called chromium that can bond the outer layer, which is made of polytetrafluoroethylene, which can reduce the friction function. This combination of coating can make the coating stronger. You can create a stronger bond, right? By using a stronger bond, and you have, apart from the anti-friction function, you can reduce the rounding of the tips and make sure that the tip is always sharp and can last longer. So by putting some chemical onto the blade, the tips of the blade, you improve the experience and also make it more durable. And this is actually the claim of the patent, right? This is the claim of the patent. And if you read, it consists of a substrate. You have a coating, hard coating made of carbon, number 16. Then you have a chromium, which is having a stronger bond, and an outer layer made of polytetrafluorine ethylene, yeah, which is anti-friction. So this is the combination claimed by Gillette. So this Gillette, apart from the functional aspect, Gillette also filed a number of design patents to cover the shape, right? So for this fusion, they have the electrical version and the manual version. And for the manual version, they filed a total of 8 designs covering different parts of the razor system, and they filed different design application to cover different aspects of the shape. Like for example, for the razor, they filed one design application for the entire razor handle, the entire razor, the entire one, including the cartridge and the razor. This is one patent covering the complete one. And a second patent, they filed another design only protecting the handle. So if you look at the cartridge, it was dotted, right? This is a strategy called the partial design protection. So by protecting the handle, by disclaiming the cartridge, you own the shape of the handle. And third, the gripping element was claimed separately through another design application. So the upper part of the design was disclaimed through dotted line, they only claim. So what happened here is, if someone were to change the shape of the handle or to change the shape of the cartridge, but only copy the gripping design, you can still catch the infringer with this design application. If someone were to copy the entire razor shape, then you can use all the 3 design to go after the infringer. So this is called a portfolio of design application. Okay. So and as you know, this is it's a very competitive market, and Gillette has been dominant for 1 century. Definitely for a simple product like this, there were bound to be competitors. So as you can see, over the years, the number of competitors have come up. The net sales from, even though the net sales from pricing has increased for Gillette over the years, the net sales from volume has dropped, meaning competitors, if you look at other competitors, especially the dollar shaver clubs, right? The net sales from volume has increased from 0.12 to 0.20, whereas the volume for Gillette has dropped. So this is a sign that competitors are trying to eat into the market. And why are the competitors able to do that? They come up with a cheaper alternative. The dollar shaver clubs selling $9 per razor, one razor and 3 cartridge. And Gillette is selling $10 for one razor, one cartridge, right? So cheaper price, coming up with almost the same function. They are eating away the market share of Gillette. So Gillette rely on this pattern, the coating pattern that I mentioned just now, to take action against both the manufacturer. The manufacturer in this case is the Dorso Co, is a Korean company. The importer, which is Paste Shaver, they are the importer, and also Dollar Shave Club, they are the seller. Because as I mentioned, patents give you monopoly over the entire spectrum of economic activities, from selling to using to importing, right? So if anyone were found to be infringing, you can go after not only the manufacturer, but the importer and also the seller. So this is exactly what Procter & Gamble has done. So Procter & Gamble rely on this particular pattern to go after the 3 infringer. Unfortunately, we don't know what the case was eventually settled. There was some arrangement found, probably some licensing arrangement will work out between the party. But having a patent surely give the innovator some bargaining chips, right? So if you want to sell a product, you have a patent as a barrier of entry, then it will put you in a better position. So with that, I think I come to the end of my presentation.